What if everything you believe about your own mind is incomplete? What if the decisions you make every single day, the choices you are convinced are rational, deliberate, and fully yours, are quietly being shaped by forces operating entirely beneath your awareness? This is not a theory. This is not philosophy. This is psychology. And once you understand these facts, you will never see yourself or the people around you the same way again. Fact 1: the spotlight effect. You walk into a room. You stumbled on the stairs. Your voice cracked during a presentation. Your shirt has a small stain you noticed too late. And for the rest of that day, it consumes you. You are convinced that every person in that room noticed, that they are still thinking about it, that it defined how they see you. Here is the psychological truth: they are not. The spotlight effect is the deeply human tendency to dramatically overestimate how much others notice and remember our mistakes, our appearance, and our behavior. Psychologist Thomas Gilovich demonstrated this through landmark research. People consistently believed their embarrassing moments were far more visible and memorable to others than they actually were. The painful irony: while you are consumed by what they think of you, they are equally consumed by what you think of them. Everyone is standing under their own invisible spotlight. The moment you understand this, a quiet freedom begins. Fact 2: cognitive dissonance. The human mind has one non-negotiable priority: to protect the story it tells about itself. When your actions contradict your beliefs, when you do something that conflicts with who you think you are, the mind does not simply accept the contradiction. It rewrites it. It rationalizes. It reframes. It justifies, until the discomfort disappears and the self-image remains intact. Leon Festinger called this cognitive dissonance, the psychological tension that arises from holding two conflicting beliefs simultaneously. And the mind will go to extraordinary lengths to resolve it, almost always by distorting perception rather than admitting fault. This is why intelligent people defend poor decisions. This is why change is so profoundly difficult. Awareness of this mechanism is not weakness. It is the beginning of genuine self-mastery. Fact 3: the bystander effect. More people, less help. This should not make sense. And yet, it is one of the most repeatedly proven phenomena in all of social psychology. When an emergency occurs in front of a crowd, individuals are statistically less likely to intervene than if they were alone. Responsibility diffuses across the group. Everyone assumes someone else will act, and so no one does. Kitty Genovese, Darley and Latané. Decades of research confirming the same uncomfortable truth: presence does not guarantee protection. Fact 4: confirmation bias. Your mind is not a search engine seeking truth. It is a defense attorney, searching relentlessly for evidence that supports what it already believes and quietly dismissing everything that does not. Confirmation bias is the cognitive tendency to favor information that confirms existing beliefs while ignoring contradictory evidence. It shapes your news feed, your relationships, your arguments, and your conclusions, often without a single moment of conscious awareness. You do not see the world as it is. You see the world as you are. Fact 5: the Zeigarnik Effect. There is a reason unfinished conversations replay in your mind at 2 a.m. There is a reason you cannot stop thinking about the project you abandoned, the apology you never gave, the goal you started but quietly buried. Your brain is not punishing you. It is doing its job. Bluma Zeigarnik, a Soviet psychologist, discovered something extraordinary while observing waiters in a Viennese cafe. Waiters remembered incomplete orders with remarkable precision, yet forgot completed ones almost immediately. The unfinished created mental tension. The finished dissolved it. This is the Zeigarnik Effect. The mind clings to incomplete tasks with far greater intensity than completed ones. It loops. It replays. It refuses to release what remains unresolved. Here is the profound motivational truth embedded within this fact: that restlessness you feel about the life you have not yet built, that is not anxiety. That is momentum waiting for direction. Your mind is already holding the door open. You simply have to choose to walk through it. Fact 6. Priming. Before you made your last significant decision, something shaped it. Something you never noticed. Something that never asked for your permission. A word overheard in a hallway, a color on a wall, a song playing softly in the background. These stimuli, invisible to conscious awareness, quietly calibrate your mood, your judgment, and your choices minutes or even hours later. This is priming. And it operates at a level of subtlety that is genuinely unsettling. Research by John Bargh demonstrated that participants exposed to words associated with old age subsequently walked more slowly down a hallway, without any awareness of the influence whatsoever. Their behavior had been rewritten by a cue they never consciously registered. Now consider what you are allowing into your environment every single day. The content you consume, the conversations you participate in, the voices you permit into your mind each morning before it is fully awake. You are being primed constantly, continuously, without pause. The only question worth asking is, by what and toward what? Fact 7. The paradox of choice. More options should produce more happiness, more freedom, more satisfaction. It does not. Psychologist Barry Schwartz dismantled one of modern society's most deeply held assumptions, that unlimited choice equals ultimate freedom. In reality, the opposite is consistently true. The more choices we are presented with, the more paralyzed we become. The more we choose, the more we regret. Because with infinite options comes infinite comparison, and comparison is the quiet thief of contentment. We do not struggle in this era because we have too little. We struggle because we have been handed too much, too many directions, too many voices, too many versions of the life we could be living, and we are drowning in the noise of all of them simultaneously. Clarity does not come from having more options. Clarity comes from the courage to commit to fewer. 7 facts, 7 mirrors. The spotlight effect reminds you that the judgment you fear exists mostly in your own mind. Cognitive dissonance reveals how desperately the mind protects its own story. The bystander effect shows what happens when personal responsibility is silently passed to the crowd. Confirmation bias exposes the filtered lens through which you have been reading reality. The Zeigarnik effect transforms your restlessness into fuel. Priming demands you become intentional about everything you allow into your mental environment. And the paradox of choice calls you back from the noise toward commitment, toward clarity, toward purpose. Knowing these facts changes nothing on its own. But seeing yourself within them, recognizing your own patterns, your own defenses, your own invisible architecture, that is where transformation begins. Not in motivation, not in discipline, but in the raw, uncomfortable, liberating act of honest self-awareness. The mind you were born with is extraordinary, but it was never designed to run on default settings forever. And so, before you move on, before you scroll to the next thing, before the moment passes, we want to ask you something genuinely worth sitting with. Of these 7 psychological facts, which one described you most accurately, and more importantly, which one are you going to do something about, starting today? Write it in the comments, say it out loud, or simply hold it in your mind with intention, because awareness without a next step is just entertainment, and you did not come here to be entertained. You came here to understand yourself.